Okay, write that down, people. Y equals 3x and x plus y equals negative 32. Okay, if you're talking, please stop because we're doing notes now. We are solving with substitution in Chapter 6. We're going to solve these equations in a variety of ways, 3 of which we already learned solved by graphing. You can have a place where the lines cross, one solution. You can have it where the lines are right on top of one another, infinite solutions. Or you can have where the lines are parallel, no solution. Same thing with these when we solve with substitution. You can have one solution, you get an x and a y value, that's one solution. You could get like 2 equals 8, which is not true, that's no solution. Or you could get an answer like 8 equals 8, and that means infinite solutions. Okay? So this first problem here, solving with substitution, right at the top it says y equals 3x. So instead of the y right below it, I'm going to write 3x. So the y is gone. In its place, I write 3x. So it looks like this. X plus 3x equals negative 32. Okay? So instead of this y, I write 3x. So the whole purpose is both of these equations I had x and y. And now when I do substitution, I only have x's in this equation, meaning I can solve for that x. What do I do on the left side here, Shane? There's a hint. What do I do? Combine like terms, right? So I get 4x equals negative 32. What's the next step, Blaze? Divide by 4 on both sides. Good job. So we get x equals negative 8. Oh, of course it gets harder. So once you get x or y, you can solve for either first, and it depends on the problem which one you might choose to solve first. I'm going to take that negative 8 and plug it in for that x right there. So I get y equals, it's part of the answer, 3 times negative 8. So what's y equal? Y equals negative 24. And then it's good if you write your final answer as an ordered pair, because you'll see answers written as ordered pairs. Remember, of course, 6, 1, 2, and 3 that we're going to cover this week and part of next week. It's just going to go right on to your final. No quiz or test over this stuff, which you're probably happy about because substitution is kind of tricky. Okay, write this one down. Yeah. Some people love substitution. It's unusual. But Alex is unusual. I like math, so I'm unusual too. I can admit it, unlike you. You are the only one. I know. You clearly have problems. So, we see that 3x, we're going to plug it in for this x right up here. I'm sorry, I did the wrong arrow. In for the y, yeah, my bad. I had a moment, don't mind me. So we get 3x, yes. So really important, instead of the y, you're writing 3x. Instead of the y, write 3x. We're going to add x to both sides, as Jackson said. So we get 4x equals 4. Divide by 4 on both sides of the equal sign, and we get x equals 1. What's y equal, Benjamin? Do you know?
3x.
Yeah, but plugging in the 1,
It's 1.
he is not wrong. That is correct. So we're going to plug that 1 in right there for that x in my lovely mustard yellow color.
I like that.
Okay? So you get y equals, I agree, it was pretty terrible. So all you have to do is take that 1, plug it in for the x. I choose the bottom equation because it's easier. There's less stuff to do. So plug it in for that x right there, and 3 times 1 is 3. As an ordered pair, you end up with 1, 3. Okay? Anyone need more time with that one? Okay, write this one down, please. Y equals 2x plus 7 and y equals x minus 1. Write it down. So instead of the y in that top equation, what are we going to write? Instead of the y in the top equation, what are we going to write? X minus 1. Excellent. So instead of the y, we take that and plug it in where that y is. So it looks like this. X minus 1 equals 2x plus 7. So this is back to the beginning of the year, as you guys were saying yesterday, when we have variables on both sides. Okay, so I always choose to get rid of the smallest variable first because I keep my variables positive. Kenny, what do I do? Subtract x on both sides. So we get negative 1 equals x plus 7. What's the last step? Joseph?
What?
Last step.
No,
What?
you subtract it.
Minus 7. Good. What's x equal? X equals negative 8. So we're going to take that negative 8 in our lovely mustard yellow, and I'm going to plug it in for that bottom x. I could plug in for the top x too, doesn't matter. Either way is correct. Y equals negative 8 minus 1. What's y equal then? Negative 9. So we get negative 8, negative 9. So if we were to solve these two linear equations, how do I know they're linear? X to the what power is linear? X to the first power is linear. How do I know if it's quadratic? It's going to be x to what power? X to what power? And then I'll answer your question. No. You think 4 because quad, right? Quad runner, 4 tires. It doesn't work like that. 2. X squared makes it look like a u, right? Absolute value of x makes it look like a v. Okay. So if we graph these two linear equations, they are linear because it's x to the first power. X to the first power. If we graph those two linear equations, where would they cross? Where would the two lines cross? Yeah, Diva. Negative 8, negative 9. That's what we're finding is what works for both equations, right? So if we graph them, they cross at negative 8, negative 9. If we plug in negative 8, negative 9 for x and y, you should get the same number equals the same number. Okay, so you can double check them like that. All right, write this one down. This one's already solved for y as well, which makes it a little bit easier. You only have 7 problems for your homework, and I'm going to do one of those 7 because it involves a fraction that'll make you unhappy. But you have calculator, so fractions don't matter anymore. Go, Reed, go. You getting it better the second time? Reed's one of my freshman gentlemen who make it way harder than it actually is. We're trying to cure people of that issue in first period. There are many of you that make it way harder than it is too. So I have one of the variables solved right here. Which variable, which equation, top or bottom, in x or y? I have the bottom equation solved for y. So what that means is I take, instead of the y in the top equation, I write 3x minus 4. So it looks like this, negative 2x plus 5. And instead of the y is gone. In its place, you write 3x minus 4 equals 19. Thanks. No, that was a lot. I don't even know where I was looking. My mind's thinking of like 4 other things as I do it. What? No, I already drank it. It's gone. So we got to distribute that 5 into the parentheses. We get negative 2x plus 15x minus 20 equals 19. Combine like terms, excellent. So we're going to combine the negative 2x and the positive 15x. When you combine like terms, make sure you always get the sign in front. So here we get 13x minus 20 equals 19. Yeah. What do I do next, Dale? Cover up the variable. Cover up the variable. You can't see it. Not subtract, right? You're good, Lacey. Yeah. You better run. Jeez. What did you say? What by 20? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Add. Good. You said different things than that. Right? All you think is opposite of minus 20 is plus 20. That's all. Don't make it any harder than that. 13x equals 39. What's the last step, Meredith? Divide by 13. Good. Divide both sides by 13. So what's x equal, anyone? Go for it, Benjamin.
It's 3.
Good job. So x equals 3. Now, I have to get y always. Once you get x, people always forget that. Which equation am I going to plug into? Top or bottom, Neva? Bottom. Right? Because it's already solved for y. So bottom equation is y equals 3x minus 4. We're going to take that 3, plug it right in there for the x. So you get y equals 3 times 3. Y equals 9 minus 4. Y equals 5. So you get 3, 5. Got to remember to get both x and y. A lot of you guys solve for one of the variables and you're like, cool, I solved for a variable, I'm done. Got to get both variables, x and y. Just waiting for a couple of people to finish writing. Good notes, Dale. Looks good, my man. All right. Anyone need more time on that? We good? Okay, write this one down. Actually, try this one on your own. Make sure all 4 people at your table. What? You gonna do it? Don't do it up there though. Do it on paper so you can do it on the back of this. You could use a whiteboard too. Sure. I like your little sassy attitude there. So, I know. I'll show you the steps here. You get 4x minus 2 times 2x plus 1 equals 6. You get that first step? Then we're going to distribute that negative 2 into the parentheses. So you get 4x minus 2 equals 6. What's 4x minus 4x?
0.
Goes away, nothing left. So does negative 2 equal 6?
Yes.
No. He's so confident too. Negative 2 does not equal 6. So that means...
Wouldn't it be x? It has to be x. Why isn't it x minus?
What?
Why isn't it?
if you have 4 cans of Sprite Zero, why would you drink Sprite Zero, first of all? If you have 4 cans of Sprite Zero and you take them all away, how many cans of Sprite Zero do you have? None. 0. Okay? Make it real, and then you get greater understanding. So this can happen, right? What does the answer look like if we end up with all real numbers or infinite solution? What's the answer look like? What's the difference? 6 equals 6, or -2 equals -2. That's how you know it's all real numbers or infinite solutions, okay? All right, write this one down. In your notes, write it down. Yeah. Yeah, you can't. I wish you the best of luck. It's a test, right? It's a quiz? Subtract that. Easier. But then you get fractions. That's why I wouldn't do that. All I did was subtract 3x from both sides, and now I have y by itself on the left. So look, before you guys freak out, look at the 2 problems. I look at the 2 equations and determine which has a variable by itself, as in no minus, no number in front, right? So this y is by itself. That means I want to get rid of this 3x. I get rid of that 3x by subtracting 3x from both sides here. Okay? Go ahead. What? That was classic Joseph right there. Okay, so instead of the y in the top equation, we're going to write -3x plus 18. Okay, let me just write this and then I'll take your question, Madeline. So 4x equals 3 times -3x plus 18 minus 2. Madeline, question. Did you end up with nasty fractions? You would end up with the same. You can solve for any of the 4 variables. It doesn't matter. It's just easier to solve for this y right here because I don't have to divide anything and create fractions that make the problem a hassle. Okay, Jackson, tell me what I get here. I get 4x on the left. Keep going. Okay, Quaid, what's your question? So you look at these, you look at the 4 variables up here. Which one doesn't have a number in front of it? That is, variable is x or y. Okay, this y doesn't have a number in front. So I got this y by itself by subtracting 3x from both sides. Now the y's alone, and then I can substitute. That's all. You can't understand this, okay? I know you're making it in to be impossible, but it's not. You can do it. All right. So what's the next step here, Shane?
You want to subtract 2.
You actually want to add 2.
Well, you would like subtract 2.
Give patience. Let them do it. Hey, Alex, that's not helpful. Go ahead. Okay, combine like terms. That's fine. You just said subtract 2. I don't know what you were saying. That's okay, Alex. Don't worry. So we get 4x equals -9x plus 52. Ella, what's the next step? Got variables? Yeah, perfect. Add 9x to both sides. So we get 13x equals 52. What's the last step, Amanda? Divide by 13, both sides.
And you get 4.
Good. X equals 4, that is correct. Now you have to get y. So where am I going to plug in that x to get y? Where am I going to plug in the x to get y? I'll wait. And then we'll take Owen's question after. Where am I going to plug in the x to get y? Yeah, you got to go like this. It's harder than you think. Yeah, Neva's got it. Can you do that? It's hard. You're good. You got it, man. Oh, yeah. Plug in x right here, right? Right here. Yeah, you were correct. What's y equal? What's y equal? I know you know. They're not paying attention. That's what I want to have happen. I don't care if you can do it. Yeah. 6. Negative 12 plus 18. Y equals 6. As an ordered pair, you get 4 comma 6. What's your question? Ask it. No, I was just always good at it. The agonizing pause.
Wasn't that 4x equals 3y minus 2?
4x equals 3y minus 2. I don't see where.
No, I wrote that down.
I'm like, yeah, that's the very first equation right up there.
Okay, and where did we put that?
We solved this second equation for y, and then we plugged that equation in for this y. So instead of the y up here, we wrote 3x plus 18. So that y is gone, right? This is where the y was. Instead, we wrote negative 3x plus 18. That's what substitution is. The y is gone. You write something with x in its place. Substitute. It kills them. See how hard it is?
Oh, no, I got it.
Oh, good. Elimination. Yeah. Okay, we good? It's way easier in my opinion. Okay, write this one down. Yeah, elimination, I find it way easier. Yeah. That's a super hard version. They would want to weep and cry. Algebra 2, you solve these things with 3 variables, x, y, and z. And one of the problems takes like a whole page.
That's light work.
Light work. Easy, right? You got that. You could do that. Oh, yeah? Not good? Rough. Okay. So, the first step is the hardest sometimes, right? Yeah, you agree. You're like waiting for that acknowledgement. So, Quaid, you're going to help me with the first step. I'm going to help you through it. I'm not going to torture you. I'm going to help you. So, I look at this y, this x, this y. What's the easiest variable to solve for? Top or bottom equation and x or y? Bottom equation, y. So, if I want to get this y right here by itself, I have to get rid of that negative 2x by add 2x to both sides. So I get y equals 2x minus 3. Okay, stop the side conversation. Write it down, please. So 2x minus 3. So instead of the y in that top equation, I instead write 2x minus 3. So it's like this, 3 parentheses 2x minus 3 plus 4x equals 14. That was better, right? A little aha moment. Not quite there yet, but better. That's all I'm going for. So distribute the 3 into the parentheses. Go for it, Eli. 6x minus 9 plus 4x. What do I do now, Eli? Okay. Add 9 to both sides. That's fine. You can do that too. We'll do it at the same time. Add 9 and combine like terms at the same time, right? So we get 10x equals 23. What's the next step, Eli? Divide by 10. X equals 2.3. It's okay to get decimals and fractions. Don't think you're doing it wrong if you get a decimal. What do we do now? Plug it in for that x right there, right? So you just get y equals 2 times 2.3 minus 3. So y equals 4.6 minus 3, so y equals 1.6. As an ordered pair, 2.3, comma, 1.6. No, we're going to do one of your homework problems because it got challenging. It should be it, but I'm going to do one of your homework problems because you'll appreciate that. Your homework's on the board, fool. I got to figure out which one it was. 1 second. So we want to do the one that's... Yeah, 13. Okay, you guys, we're going to do 13 from your homework because it gets some fraction action. And you want some help with that, trust me. Okay, here's 13 from your homework. Focus in. You still got 22 minutes left. So we're going to take this x plus 3 and put it where the y is. You can do your homework out of order. It's fine. So you get 3x plus 4 times x plus 3 equals 7. If you're one of those people that has to do your homework in order, you can just take a picture of that or write it somewhere else. It's fine. Okay, what do I do next, Quaid? Distribute. Good. So I get 3x plus 4x plus 12 equals 7. What do I do now, Reed? Don't think I won't ask you a question if you're in my class. Combine like terms. Excellent. Reed got scared, but he answered the question correct anyways. 7x plus 12 equals 7. What do I do now, Blaze? Subtract 12 from both sides. Excellent. Yeah, go for it, buddy. So you get 7x equals negative 5. What's the last step? Eva. Divide by 7. And we get x equals negative 5/7. Okay? So I'm going to plug that negative 5/7 up there into the y equals x plus 3. So y equals... Again, I'm taking that negative 5/7 and plugging it in for the x. So y equals negative 5/7 plus 3 So if I wanted to add those two fractions, I have to get a what? Common what? Denominator. What's my common denominator?
21.
These are my denominators, 1 and 7. 7. So I can multiply the second fraction by 7 over 7. So I get y equals negative 5 sevenths plus 21 sevenths. So y equals 16 sevenths. Joy. So as an ordered pair, this thing would be negative 5 sevenths, comma, 16 sevenths. Because if you divide sevenths, you get decimals. This is the most accurate way to end up with fractions. So that was number, whatever it was from your homework. That was 13 from your homework. Okay? So solve with substitution. What did you do yesterday? Solve with graphing. Graphing. Solve with substitution. Block day tomorrow. Solve with elimination. Okay? And then Friday we'll do a worksheet practicing both elimination and substitution.
Are we going to have a test this week?
The next assessment you have is the final exam. Okay? The Tuesday of finals week, period 2 and 6.